I can tell you, I bought the house 2 stories. So one small apartment, one big apartment, separate from each other. And big basement with cantina where it's a big garage where they stored the wine before, those big things. Um, and I have 200 olive trees in
Ooh,
my garden. I
wow.
have, yeah, it's very nice. And I have a chicken coop
Ooh,
and also a sheep shed. So, yeah, as I
sounds
love chickens, I bought the house for the chicken coop.
okay. So today we have a special podcast for you today. I'm meeting with my new friend Doris Meusburger, and Doris, you're from Austria, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for doing the podcast. Doris bought her dream home in Italy, and she's going to walk us through on how to buy a spectacular home or share insights on how to purchase just an apartment and what steps you need to take to obtain a property there. So, Doris, let's start by just you giving a little bit of backstory about you. We know you're from Austria. Tell us, how you got hooked on Italy and decided to buy a property in Italy.
Okay, so I'm from Austria, near the Swiss border, so totally in the west. And I had a house in Spain, a really nice villa. But as a lot of us, I had a loan with variable interest. So that was bad, really bad. So I sold the house and then I had some cash, right? After deducting all the taxes. And so I knew what I wanted. And I'm always into this to make some investment for my retirement.
Hmm.
I'm 56 years old, so it's about 9, 10 years left, maybe until I'm 65. And yeah, it should be in the south because everyone wants to go to the south with sun and everything. So yeah, and then a friend of mine told me, well, if you cannot purchase another home in Spain with your budget, so I have a friend who bought in Italy, and I haven't been in Italy for nearly 40 years. This is crazy.
Hmm.
And then we went down there immediately for 4 days,
Hmm.
just 8 hours drive, and spent 4 days there.
Hmm.
And what I did before was I looked on Idealista, looked at some of the properties that are now advertised and that are in my budget. You know,
Okay.
my wish was such a stone house, romantic stone house in Italy.
Hmm.
And yeah, I didn't know the steps, but I was introduced to those friends, and they introduced me to a property finder, a nice Irish lady.
Hmm.
And the town we went to was Montecarotto in La Marche.
Okay.
And La Marche is called like the small Tuscany.
Yeah.
It's about the same like those rolling hills, but not as much those cypress alleys that Tuscany has. It's on the other side, but from Le Marche, for example, you can be in 2.5 hours in Rome over the
Hmm.
highway. You can go to Siena, San Gimignano, Florence, everything is around.
Hmm.
And also Bologna is around everything. You
Okay,
can go to
nice.
the south. So it's in between of everything and
Okay.
offers a lot. The Rivera de Conero, this is where the beaches are. And yeah, it ticked some boxes
Okay.
for me.
So you chose La Marche. Now, Italy is a large place with a lot of beautiful areas. How did you pick this particular region?
First of all, because I visited the friends in this small town. It's really 1,800, 2,000 people.
Uh-huh.
It's Italian. Um, It's 25 minutes by car to the beach, which is
Okay.
nice. It's 8 hours drive from my place,
Mm-hmm.
which is okay
Yeah.
because with Spain I had 20 hours. Um,
And Doris,
yeah,
what's the name of the town?
Montecarotto, and it's in Le Marche.
And that's the town you purchased your house in.
Yeah,
Okay, and then
Mont
you mentioned that you found a property finder. Explain what a property finder is, and do you have to pay them, or I'm guessing you do, but how much would you have to pay them to help you find a property?
I mean, not all the real estate agents uh, have the same percentage of commission, but normally it's between 3 and 4%,
Hmm.
on the buyers and on the sellers side. So 6 or 8 in total.
Hmm.
The property finder, he's working for you, only for you, not for anyone else, and is looking around if there's something in your budget, if something that you like. For example, I wanted to have a garden. I love gardening. Um, I wanted to rent out the property until I'm moving there or I'm renting out, and the property finder, I mean, I don't know if all the property finders charge the same, of course, but it's a smaller percentage. It's, I don't know, 1 or 2%. But it depends, you know, I don't know if you have to pay the real estate agent, 3% on both sides. So maybe
Okay,
it's
so
only a flat fee charge, I don't
mhm.
know, or 1 or 2%.
Okay, so when you purchased your house, it sounds like because you hired a property finder, you paid an additional percentage on top of the 3 and 3, which is a total of 6%. So it sounds like you paid up to close to 8% in the
No,
purchase. No?
no, no.
Oh,
I paid a very small flat fee. I was one of her first customers, and because I went on Idealista and had some, links that I sent her, and she also went to find some properties on her own, which ticked my boxes, and so I didn't have a real estate agent.
okay.
So my only fee was her fee.
Okay. Thinking about moving abroad? Adventure Freaks is packed with resources to help you every step of the way. Want immigration support? We connect you with experts who understand the process inside and out, giving you the most up-to-date, reliable information. No more sifting through outdated websites or confusing embassy pages. You can click on the country you're interested in and scroll down and see our helpful links here. Here's immigration and visas, which will connect you with an immigration lawyer in that country. Curious about life abroad? Talk to expats who've already made the move, all of which we've done podcasts with on our YouTube channel. Whether it's day-to-day living or navigating local bureaucracy, they've been there and can share their firsthand experience. You can also book a one-on-one consultation with me. I've spoken with hundreds of expats and professionals around the world, and I'm here to help you navigate the process and find the right destination for you. Not sure where to go? Our ideal destination finder can help. Answer 20 simple questions and discover the top 3 countries that match your lifestyle and priorities, all based on your answers. Plus, you can dive into our helpful articles covering everything from finding housing to understanding healthcare abroad. AdventureFreaks.com makes it easy to get the answers you need straight from the source. If you're ready to start your journey, we're here to help. Okay. So you didn't have to pay the real estate agents when you purchased.
No.
They didn't charge you a percentage?
No, because it was a private seller. So
Oh, so your property finder found a private seller rather than somebody that was using an
yes,
agent. I see.
and on Idealista you can also tick a box when you are searching, which says over real estate agents or private sellers.
Oh, good information. I didn't know that there
Yeah,
was just a private seller only option on Idealista.
as I remember, there is a box to click.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah.
So now let's get into cost. What are homes going for out in La Marque in this particular area that you bought in because it's an area that a lot of people don't focus on typically, but it's like you say, it does emulate a lot of what Tuscany has to offer. It's got the roaming hills, the vineyards, there's olive groves. It's you're close to the ocean, so it's this kind of hidden gem region in Italy that you were smart because you picked a place that a lot of people aren't going to yet. But I'm hearing more and more chatter about it. I actually recently interviewed a guy from America that purchased a house in La Marque, and that's going to be that we're going to publish that interview soon, that podcast. So it is becoming more and more familiar to people. But yeah, so what can you find properties for in this region?
So you gave a nice overview over Le Marche. Everything is good. And it's for, people who like food and wine and,
Ooh.
all that stuff, all the good stuff. Yeah. Um, the property prices, as always, it's between small prices and high prices.
Hmm.
So you have to know your budget. And you have to know, for example, I did not want to renovate, just small things.
Hmm.
Because I did this in Spain and I didn't want to do this. And a hassle, if you are not there, if you don't know constructors, um, I had this thing in Spain that my first constructor went off with my money. I don't need this again. I
Yeah.
don't want to have this.
Well,
So
Doris, could you give, when you say small, and you said there's a small, there's small prices and then there's large prices. Give the viewers an understanding of what that is in La Marque. What is a small price for a property? What's a middle price? What's a high price?
I saw places for 35,000, 60,000. My budget that I had was under 180.
Okay.
This was my maximum. But of course, I also know people that bought for 365 or something like this, a
Yeah.
thousand, of course. So it depends what you want. I just didn't want to have something with 35,000 and renovate it and
Right.
spend 50 or 100,000 euros,
Hmm.
putting in radiators or heaters or whatever.
So did you find something move-in ready? Okay.
Nearly, yes. Just some floors that I polished now, and before the furniture comes in, I have a new kitchen upstairs because I didn't like the old one. And I have two apartments, separate apartments, and I just returned yesterday, and I was going to the Kommune to get the code for renting out. So you have to get some papers for this, and then I can rent out either the small apartment, the big apartment, or the whole house.
Can you explain to the viewers what the Comuna is?
The Kommune is the city town hall,
Okay.
you know.
So it's like
Yeah.
city hall, it's like the government in the
Yeah.
city that you purchase your property in.
Yeah.
So you had to
I
go
had
down.
to go there for garbage now, to get my garbage bins. Right now, I did my gas, electricity, water to put it in my name. I will get Wi-Fi in about 1 or 2 weeks. Um, yeah, I did a lot of stuff in 2 weeks
Okay.
and just returned.
So let's dive into, okay, so quick question. You mentioned 35,000, 65,000 dollar homes. Are those single family homes or are they attached homes or apartments?
You can have everything. I mean, you can have the apartment where you don't have the hassle of doing your garden,
Hmm.
while, or have someone to be paid for doing your stuff. You
Okay.
can have houses that are attached. I didn't want to have this.
Hmm.
I don't, I want my own roof, my own garden.
Yes.
I, you know,
Okay, so then you purchase this, you find your house. using Idealista. There's another one, Immobiliare. These are online platforms that you can search houses in Italy, and they're excellent. And then you were identifying properties that were being sold by private owners, and then you hired a property finder to assist you as well, and then you identified and found your property. So how did you pay for it? Did you pay cash? Did you finance? And what does the process of that look like? I mean, is there a percentage that you needed to put down if you did finance it? Just kind of share us a little bit about how you did that.
So I would never ever take a mortgage again
Okay.
for a house in another country. First of all, it's not always possible. The banks are not easy
Yes.
to get this. And I personally had a loan with my Spanish house, and I would never do it again. Never.
Okay.
If I cannot pay in cash, I won't do it.
Okay.
That's my point. But that's my personal view, you know.
Okay.
Um, and I can take a loan for furniture or whatever, small things, or but not purchasing a home. I
Okay.
would not do this.
Okay. So when you make a large purchase like this in Italy, obviously there's going to be tax, there's going to be other things that you need to pay. Kind of walk us through that process.
So the first thing I did is getting the Codice Fiscale over the consulate, which I did in Austria.
What is that?
Um,
What is that again?
Codice Fiscale, that's the tax number, the Italian tax number. For
Okay.
everything you buy, you purchase, do whatever, you need your Codice Fiscale.
Okay.
So that's the first thing to do.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where you come from. So the next step I did was when I went there and looked at things. Before I returned, I was opening a bank account.
Okay.
That's one of the things because um, I knew I wanted to buy a house, right? So
Yeah.
I had to transfer my money there.
Okay.
And, money laundering laws are everywhere worldwide now. And I wanted to have it on my own account.
Mm-hmm.
When we purchased it, of course, eventually it goes to the notary's fiduciary account. Once you buy the house, you actually have to pay it. And the first step when you decide on a house, you have to make an offer to the seller that he can either reclaim or accept.
Okay.
And you have to make a little short contract and a down payment, or I don't know, 10% maybe, or
Okay.
15, depends, how you get along with the seller, what he wants, I don't know. But everyone has to be aware that if you don't take the house at the end, this is lost. The money is lost.
Okay.
If the seller eventually says, no, I don't want to sell anymore, then you get the double price back
Oh,
of your
interesting.
deposit. Okay. But if you say, no, I decided differently, then your money is gone.
Okay.
It depends on the situation, uh, you know, uh, who has to pay what to whom.
Mm-hmm.
That's legally binding.
Okay.
So before you make the first signature, before you make the first down payment, just think twice.
Okay. So you wired money directly from your bank in Austria to your new bank account that you set up in Italy. Was that an extravagant amount of money that they took from you in the wire transfer? How costly was that?
Nothing because I'm Austrian, so I'm in the SEPA
Okay.
area, with the IBAN number. But of course, the United States, Australian people are not
Yeah.
inside Europe.
Yeah.
So this is
It's
certainly different. I saw a video last time on YouTube where someone used Wise.
yeah, that's what I
And
was going to ask you.
yeah, but I don't use this or anything because I don't need this.
Right.
So
You're European, so you have an advantage. So yeah, the Wise, what Doris is referring to for the viewers is it's an app, but it's actually kind of like a phone app bank account where you can wire money from the US into your account, Wise account, and it can convert into euros. And it's a lot less expensive, the transfers, than it is from your bank account to another bank account in Italy. So a lot of expats that move abroad use Wise. So that's good information. Okay, so you did that, and then there had to be a tax that you had to pay, right? A tax, right up front tax when purchasing a property. What can you share about that?
So when the notary appointment for the real sale, first of all, you have your down deposit and your first contract. I want, you state, I want to buy this house, and the seller says, yes, I want to sell it for this price. Then all the paperwork is done. Are all the plans in order? Are all the people involved knowing about this sale and everything? Because in Italy it can be 20 people that are related to this house somehow. So I only had 2 people, so that was good. And then you make the real contract in front of the notary. You have to understand Italian, or you need a translator for this.
Okay.
So translator into English, German, whatever. And then in front of the notary, before you go to the notary, it should be on the money should be on his fiduciary account.
Okay.
That's how I did it. I sent my money to the fiduciary account of the rest of the payment. And the notary, once we signed it and he confirmed everything, he releases the money to the seller, but only if everything is okay. So this is your advantage, and it's very important that the seller only gets the money if everything is okay.
Is there a tax that you had to pay?
Yes, there are 2 options. I opted for the 2% version, okay? But it has some things that you have to know about this.
Okay.
And normally it's 9%. So I opted for the 2% version, but I have to take Italian residency within 18 months.
Okay.
Or if I don't do this, and I'm tax resident then, and if I don't do this, I have to pay the 7% and a small little fine for not doing this.
Okay.
And then in total, I paid the 9%, and I don't have to be resident in Italy, which means not only resident, but also being tax resident. So,
right.
Yeah. So I'm at the moment, I'm opted for the 2% version.
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm still working and everything, I don't know what is my situation in 18 months.
Yes.
I just have to put this into my calendar before, because this is very important. This is important. Yeah.
So typically, if a person's going to purchase a property, they have 2 options. It's going to be 9% upfront you have to pay when you buy the house. So if you buy something for 100,000, you're going to pay 9,000. But you had a 2% option, which says you got to become a resident of Italy within 18 months. So we'll allow you to pay 2%, which would be 2,000 of 100,000. So it's a significant savings. That's great information because that gives people options. Do you know if a person from the United States or Canada would have the same option?
I believe so, but as I said, there are some obligations to this. I would do something like this only if I'm from the United States and have all my papers ready, the papers for the visa and permesso di soggiorno and all the things that you are talking about in your videos. So you cannot take this option if you didn't start the process, the process of your, stay. I tried my luck with this 2%, and otherwise I pay a fine.
Yeah,
That's the point, at the 7%. So
sure. So you're
yeah,
ultimately, if you don't do it in 18 months, it's not a bad deal because you're going to pay the 7%. You got to make that back up, and then they fine you something that's probably not too costly. So it's not a, it's willing to try if you can do it, right? If you can,
I don't know what the fine is, but I try. I took my chance.
yeah,
So yeah,
you're a risk taker, Doris.
yeah.
You certainly are. You bought a property in Spain. Now you're buying a property in Italy. So let's talk about your property. How how big is this property? And then I want you to share kind of, the square meters of the property and what the property looks like. And then let the viewers know what the property tax will cost you per year for that property.
I cannot tell you because I'm liable in June, so they calculate this in June.
Hmm.
But I can tell you, I bought the house 2 stories, so one small apartment, one big apartment, separate from each other, and big basement with cantina where it's a big garage where they stored the wine before, those big things. Um, and I have 200 olive trees in
Ooh,
my garden. I
wow.
have, yeah, it's very nice. And I have a chicken coop
Ooh,
and also a sheep shed. So, yeah, as I
sounds,
love chickens, I bought the house for the chicken coop.
yeah. Do you have any
No,
idea how large the house is, square footage, square meter wise?
we just took a look at this, and it's around 80 square meters, the small one, 80 to 90, and 120 the upstairs. So I can tell you in bedrooms, the small apartment has 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a kitchen with living space
Okay.
in there. Okay, and
Yeah.
balconies all around. Maybe you share a photo of the house. I don't know.
Yes, we'll include the video footage in the photos.
Yeah. And then the upstairs apartment has 3 bedrooms and one bathroom, and also a kitchen with some space to eat, to have a dining table,
Hmm.
and a big living room, and also balcony.
Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
there is a upstairs attic and the basement with all the laundry room and all that stuff, and the
Hmm.
big cantina. And then you can go outside, you're in the garden, and you have a hill with olive trees.
Okay.
So
So you said 120 square meters downstairs and 80 square meters above upstairs?
no, the opposite. The small apartment is downstairs and 120 upstairs.
So your overall, your square meters is 200 basically. That's about 2,100 square feet. So that's a good size house.
And it's very big because you have the basement with the cantina,
Hmm.
space is not the problem in this house.
Yeah.
It's on the road, in Montecarotto. It's on the road. I'm not in the middle in the center of the village, but it's only a few minutes of walk.
Hmm.
And I'm connected to all the things like water, gas, Wi-Fi, and it's glass fiber Wi-Fi. So I have all the good connections from the town,
Hmm.
but I'm not in town and not on a busy street.
Hmm. Okay. So you bought a little bit outside of town, but you can walk or ride a bike into town pretty easily.
Yeah, or
Okay.
a Vespa, how you
Okay.
want.
So when you purchased this, did you ask anybody roughly what your tax would be per year?
Yeah, I asked, but I forgot how it is. I'm looking for June now to see. I also just opened the garbage bin uh, matter, so I'm also looking for this. What I have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a resident, so if I would be resident, I don't pay IMO. I don't pay this tax at all. It's
Mm-hmm.
zero. And I pay half for the garbage, I think, and half or less for electricity, water,
Hmm.
and all that stuff if I'm resident. So
Okay. Okay. So what else can you share about this process that we haven't covered about buying the house?
Pretty much everything. The only thing that I can mention is be aware of the fact that if you buy at the less price, you have, the houses are most of the times they are old, you
Yes.
know, and I didn't want to renovate everything, and I'm done within 2 months, and I'm ready to move in to furnish to have my kitchen, have my stuff, everything. So um, the the thing to think about is would I purchase something? Would I want to purchase something and then still have to go for half or 1 year or 2 years to renovate? Do I want this process, or do I save my money and have a higher purchase price, but can move in earlier, or
Hmm.
can use it earlier, can have a nice life and Dolce Vita earlier? I have no
Hmm.
idea. That was my decision. I want something that needs slight things, that slight adaptation things,
Yeah.
like the wooden floors. I polish them, and painting, of course, and just adapt some things.
Hmm. Okay. I heard you say that you didn't want to wait a couple years for renovation. So are you saying that if somebody goes to La Marque and they find a beautiful place for like say 35, 40, 50,000, and they're like going, okay, well, let's renovate it and we'll put another 50,000 in it, and then we're only $100,000 into this house in Italy that's our Italian dream home, which is really, really affordable when you think about it. If you can find something for 35, 40, 50,000, you put another 50 in, you're into it 100,000. But here's the question. How long does it take to actually renovate those homes? And can you find the guys that are able to do that in La Marque?
It depends what you buy, of course. I mean, you definitely have to do the electrics, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
that's then always look that there is no mold, or damp that you cannot fix.
Hmm.
Um, and also, it has to be habitable. That's one of the big points. Don't buy anything that is not um, you know, uh, with certificate that you cannot live in there or something. Those
Hmm.
things are really crazy to fix, I think.
Okay.
So you should really definitely look that it's habitable somehow, that it has the permission for this.
Okay.
And I found workers. I found it over my property finder. So, I was not
Okay.
there. I just came down now, and she fixed everything with those people. She was running the whole day and organizing things, and getting the dates and appointments and offers, and that was her part, and I'm really, really happy about this.
Okay.
She charges you, of course, for the hours that she has to to do this, but
Hmm.
she knows the people in town, in the commune, in the region, and she picks the best ones that she thinks are reliable for this.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about um, your house. What are you going to do with your house? How are you going to use it? Are you going to move in and just call it your Italian dream home? Are you going to turn it into a B&B where you can invite, you got a couple apartments you set upstairs. Would you allow people to stay with you and you could show them around La Marque? Tell us your plans.
So, as I have two separate apartments, I can rent out the small one to a family maybe, or one person, and I have a big apartment upstairs, or they can rent the whole house if there
Hmm.
is a group or whatever. Um, the thing, you always have to follow the laws, and that's one of the points I'm really find important. As rental person, you're allowed to rent out to one person for 30 days only.
Hmm.
So otherwise, you are in the long-term rental
Oh, okay.
and need a contract. So
Okay.
when, for example, if Americans come over and they normally for their visas, they need or permesso de soggiorno, that they can stay, they need a rental, a certified rental, which is, registered.
Okay.
So this is not what I'm doing. I'm also not doing a bed and breakfast because I don't offer breakfast.
Hmm.
I just rent out my apartments.
Okay. All right. Good. And how could people reach out and find you, Doris, if they're interested?
So I'm preparing my website right now because
Okay.
to do all the advertisement, I need the so-called SIN number, which
Mhm.
is my legal registration for renting out.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm waiting for this. I applied and I'm waiting to get the number. But I'm on Facebook already, which says Casa Doris, Montecarotto, Le Marche.
That's great information. So, and the last thing I wanted to ask you is about your property finder that helped you locate this property. How can somebody find her?
So her name is Hazel Reilly. She's
Okay.
in Montecarotto, and she's a nice Irish lady with lots of humor and
Okay.
lots of good connections. So I would definitely recommend her.
Okay. Yeah, and she's from Ireland, so obviously she speaks English, which is very, very useful for the Americans and the Canadians coming over. Okay. Is there anything else, Doris, you can think of that we didn't cover for the people and the viewers considering buying their dream home in Italy?
No, I think we covered almost everything. As I said, think about this twice if you want to renovate and spend the time for this, or if you want to budget a little bit more and have less work on the house. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But Le Marche is a dream, really a dream in Italy.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well, Doris, I just want thank you again so much for taking the time out of your day to share all this really valuable information. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.